Oh my god, finally. Latinx people. Yo, I was talking for an hour. It's okay. I'm not gonna be pressed about it. All right. Why is it important to leave Latinx people alone? Here's the thing. I just came from watching a video by a cisgendered, self-identified Mexican immigrant woman, predominantly Spanish speaking, but that's besides the point, who was criticizing the word Latinx. Now, I identify myself as a migrant, Latin American person, etc., etc. There's a lot of more identifications, but my point is that I'm laughing because I already said so many of these things. My point is that my voice is even hoarse. God, I'm so tired. All right, my point is that Latinx people is not for cisgendered people. I mean, the word Latinx is not for cisgendered people. So for people to be mad at the word Latinx is contradictory to the supposedly support that they're trying to provide communities outside of their own gendered. Damn. um yeah, fuck the Spanish language, fuck the English language. We're not gonna allow the US Census to define us however they fucking want. We're not gonna allow centuries of consequences from colonization to continue to rule our vocabulary and the way that we perceive the world. One of the ways that colonization tried to, or colonizers tried to keep indigenous people and other folks who not from quote unquote the American continent oppressed was by forbidding them to use their original language. And that says that language has a lot of power. So the words that we use have a lot of power. Words represent thoughts. Thoughts represent worlds. Feelings, houses, ways of life. So words are never just words. For this lady to be defending or to be so against the word Latinx, first of all, it's very common for Latin American people just to automatically be closed-minded to anything that's not what they know, point blank, period. This is something that was created by U.S. Born and inhabiting Latin American descendants so that they could find their place, reclaim their identity as a cultural human being with a background and a history, as well as someone with a complex and diverse and rich gender experience. The US Census for a very long time required for people of Latin American ancestry to identify themselves as Latino or Hispanic. That question didn't become more specific until literally like a year ago or something like that. And what that has done for the diaspora in the quote unquote US, which is really just stolen indigenous land, has been the further homogenization of our people, our very diverse people. We are indigenous people. We are African descendants. There are people there are Latin American born people who have ancestry from many places in Asia, places from Africa, etc. Because of the effects of colonization. It has homogenized the people living here in the US into thinking that their identity is this word, Latino. Whether or not you're quote unquote male or female, depending on where your parents have migrated from, then that would be your little box to check and world to create around you, wherever you go. Creating new terms isn't a new thing. It's not something to pigeonhole against young people. And the English and Spanish language, like I said earlier, are languages that were brought from Europe, used to colonize our people. So we have more than the right to alter and disrupt that language. It's actually our duty and responsibility because we are here. It's not like at this point in time, all of the people with all of these different ethnic backgrounds, because we've all intermingled so much. So there are people who are Black and Indian and Latin American, are we going to ask of them to learn every language from their ancestry in order to reconnect with our roots and restore the damage that was done by colonization? Probably not. It's okay to start from where we are. And it's necessary to change things in order for there to be progress. I am tired. I explained so much about migration. I explained so much about gender diversity. And the thing is that if someone wants to identify as a Latinx person and you are a cisgendered person who doesn't have the experience of a non-binary person, of a gender fluid person, a gender non-conforming person, or a transgender person, it's not your place to criticize it because that's not something that is saving your life. Because these are the communities that are most vulnerable across the world. Most prone to suicide, most prone to violence, most prone to shorter lifespans because of violence and trauma. It's not necessarily a health thing. It's very much a hate thing. So, you know, if you are someone if you are someone who has been hearing something like you don't like this word Latinx because you hate non-binary people and you don't think that that's true, well, here's the thing. We can say we can say things and we can act in certain ways in our lives and still by default um, act in ways that perpetuate violence against marginalized communities. So reducing that impact into something as trivial as like just hating people just that are around you or yeah, maybe a group of non-binary people, the community itself, it's quite egocentric and based in that like narcissism that comes